Yeah, it was like John Cena. It was John Cena when he was originally the Specimen. It's the Specimen. Shut up, Specimen.
That honestly that probably would have been a better character.
I'm the Specimen. It's whatever, he's Superman now.
I never got the whole "you can't see me" thing. What is that about?
I don't know. He's freaking Superman. Just leave him alone.
All right. So thanks for. Oh, that's you. I thought there was something exploding.
Server down, go down.
The servers are going down, even though we don't have servers here.
Yep.
I tried, but you wouldn't let me.
Well, like,
I had to say it off here.
Well, like,
Harry, welcome to the bonus show here on WeAreLibertarians.com. Harry Price joins me. We are just chilling after an aggressive episode of We Are Libertarians where I ranted about Alex Jones. What are you looking at? Computer?
My precious little HP that I had this thing built, like, you're not even using it to, like, its full ability. Like, I put 2 net cards in it so you could bond them together and use, like, one of them.
Bro, we are starting next week, or the week. 2 weeks, we're starting the video, hopefully, because I'm going to have the money. I build a website. I got the check is in the mail, I've been assured.
Sweet.
So when I get that check, I'm going to buy all the rest of the video equipment.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to upgrade. So what we're going to do for the patrons, for the $10 and up a month patrons, is we're going to still run the Mevo camera to live stream, but we're going to run it to the big Facebook page. Okay. We're going to run that to the Facebook live for like Ben Shapiro does for like the first 20, 30 minutes. And then we're going to say, hey, if you want to join us, become a patron, $10 a month, you can watch the whole video, listen at WeAreLibertarians.com. And then and hopefully I have the bandwidth to do this.
And the coffee maker should be done making by that when you know the break, right?
That's right. And so hopefully I have the bandwidth to do this, but we're going to run OBS on that machine.
Dun, dun, dun.
And we're going to put cameras on the end of each of these mics, and so we'll have close-up cams of everybody's face, be kind of low profile. So when Harry's talking, you can see a close-up of Harry, and so we're gonna switch it. We're gonna do a little more production with the video, and hopefully record a higher quality, so then I can upload that to YouTube and use those for clips. Because what I want to do is we've already got a couple exclusive videos from Sarah Brady Wagner. She's already done a couple videos for us based on the equipment that we sent her, so we're gonna have some exclusive like vlogger content. We're gonna have clips from the show, and it's gonna look really cool. So like tonight's Alex Jones thing, cut up. I know a couple pieces where I'd want to pull those for promos, for instance, for video content. And then this one, we're gonna stream the show live to the mobile apps every single time.
Okay.
And have the phones up, and so we're just gonna kind of make it like a radio show. I'm building in some segments. I've got a professionally produced intro being done right now. I've already sent you the co-host guide. I don't know if you got a chance to even read through the co-host guide yet, but
I glanced at it.
I got like a whole structure and segments, and the show's not really going to change much. We're just going to name stuff, and we're gonna have. We're going to have like a break in between topics to kind of promote in the show, like the Patreon, all the stuff that supports us, like commercials, have a little bed music under it. I want it to sound like a radio show. And the reason I'm doing this is because I went to Podcast Movement 2 weeks ago, and that's kind of I want to fill people in on that because I thought it was a lot of interesting. I waited until you were here because I figured you'd have questions or would find some of this interesting. But the thing that I learned more than any other thing is NPR rules podcasting. Yeah. Like NPR has the stuff that NPR is building for podcasting, which currently makes up like 20-30% of their revenue, but soon it'll be much more. The thing they're working on is called RAD, and it's this audio measuring service, and they have something called Radiotopia and Radio Public, which are kind of a version of their podcasting company. We're on Radiotopia. If you listen on Radiotopia on that app, then we get money for it, I think. Like we get they serve ads and then we get credit. I don't anticipate making any money on it, but But I'm on there because I want to see their metrics. So the big thing that everybody's trying to do is figure out how to like measure, because you can download podcasts all day, but advertisers want to know if you listened.
Right.
So did you actually listen to this podcast? Because I want to know if my ad got heard. Which podcasts, for whatever reason, get that kind of like bad rap. Whereas like nobody, the way that like radio is measured in most markets is diaries. Like people send a paper diary. Nielsen sends you a paper diary and then expects you to fill it out. That's why radio magnets are so huge. It's because they would give away magnets because they'd think, okay, what if a diary person gets a magnet on their fridge and they're at home getting a drink in the evening, they see the magnet, and then they'll remember to fill out their diary. That's why radio stations give out magnets.
Magnets.
Right.
That's crazy.
But who knows if people are telling the truth when they fill out a diary? They could be, cramming at the end of the week to fill out whatever.
I got to get this done to get my $50 check.
Right, exactly. So,
that's how they did that.
So it's all very interesting stuff. But, so nobody knows how anything's measured in advertising. The only true measurement of if an ad works is if people buy the product.
Right.
When we did an advertisement, when we were still only 25 to 3,000 listeners an episode, we had one advertiser who was a barley producer. He did hops for craft beers in Columbus. And he was like, people drove from, I assume it was Christie, drove from Fort Wayne to get our hops because they listened to the show. Like, and so the $600 that he spent with us was very well worth it to him because he's like, I didn't expect to get any response and I got like 5 orders. So I'm pretty excited, so that's the only true measurement of whether or not something works. So, yeah, the thing that they saw in measuring podcasts is that if you have a long podcast, I'm doing something. So NPR basically had a show like ours. Okay, they had a show with 3 segments over an hour, and when they took the segments and put 3 segments in the podcast feed over, instead of a 90-minute episode, they did 3 30-minute episodes or whatever. They noticed the downloads and the time spent listening went way up because people had quick access to the content that they wanted. So, for a show like We Are Libertarians, like tonight, where we discussed really one thing, but we had 3 topics.
Yeah.
People would prefer to have chunks of that as opposed to one big long episode. Now, you can't change that for us at this point. I can't change the formula too much because the foundation of what We Are Libertarians is a group of friends talking around a kitchen table, talking issues. And it's a long-form conversation, and people like the length of it. And, but one review on the iTunes was like, 2 hours of a podcast. What blowhard, arrogant asshole thinks that anybody wants to listen to them talk for 2 hours?
Your mom.
If you look at our numbers are like, people listen to 75% of the show, which I can't believe. But I noticed after Podcast Movement, when I looked, I was like, oh, the numbers drop after 90 minutes. I should keep the show at 90 minutes. 3 hours, nobody's listening by the end of 3 hours. So,
except Christy.
Right.
Christy.
But the other thing that they talked about is that if you can if I can identify some of these segments, or if I can identify, like, if I can be more structured with how we do the show, and, something like, we talk about libertarian ideals and we talk about libertarian principles, but if you make it a segment, like the path to libertarianism, eventually, after about 6 months, people are going to go, I love that segment. I love that, So I want to just try and experiment over the next few months with kind of some of these segments, see what works, see what people like, and then time code the show notes with skip to here if you want to listen to this thing, skip to here if you want to listen to that. So you're going to hear some tweaks, nothing fundamentally different about the show, but I'm going to be a little more structured in how I do things because I think it will help the listener. And everything that we do at the end of the day is to help the listener to learn, basically. I learn the topic in a way and then express it in a way that I know the audience would pick up on it. Like, I try to express things in a and an 8th grade level, as opposed to, like, I listen to Econ Talk a lot, and I'm just like, how would regular people ever listen to Econ Talk? Like, I love it because I'm nerdy, but no regular person's listening to Econ Talk and going, this is great. This Austrian guy, like, there was one guy talking, he was like a French guy talking about, disparities, and I'm just like, I can't do it, man. I'm like, even it's too nerdy for me, and so we just try to, we're going to keep doing what we do, putting things in a way that is easily accessible. And I think I can kind of, with a little more work, I don't know where I'm going to find the time, I can structure things to be a little easier on the listener. And so once we get to the growth stage of late 2019, 2020, then we're rolling.
It just goes.
Yeah.
It just goes. All right.
So,
well, I know I made a lot of demands here in 2018.
You have. A lot.
I still like the idea. I know you don't, but I love the idea, even if it's small and short, of the weekly meeting.
I don't know about a weekly meeting, because here's the thing.
What?
I agree that we need to have more structured conversations as an organization, because part of what happened over the last year is, and I'll just be very candid, I'll use their names, like, the social circle was much stronger when Greg was around. And then, and part of that was because people weren't busy. They weren't as busy, and everybody was just kind of cool with each other.
Yeah.
There were the fake fights with, like, Rob Kendall and stuff like that. Then when the Greg stuff happened, it happened at a really bad time, because some of the people in the group were going through a divorce. Some people were losing their jobs. Some people were, like, I was just so, like, fucked up by that. And, like, to be honest, there's a lot of stuff that I will never, ever tell the audience, and there's much more to the story. I mean, you don't, like...
Stuff happened.
You don't get over, just my best friend stole some girl that, like, no, that's not how it worked. It was much deeper than I will ever explain. And so it was very difficult for me. And so I completely isolated myself for 6 months. And then I have been on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trips in 3 months. And so the co-host stable has kind of atrophied. The social circle has atrophied, because I was always kind of the one pushing everybody to hang out and get together.
Yeah.
And, Boss Hog got married. We haven't even had any time this summer to have a pool party, for instance. It wasn't like, let's not have a pool party. It was like, I just don't have a free... Like, Jared and I talked about it in April, and he's like, I literally do not have a free weekend until September. I mean, that's how busy, like, they are, and they're, so... Everybody's just been really busy, or busy with putting their life together, or all kinds of stuff. And so it's kind of hurt the social aspect of Wall, which I think is part of what makes us special. And that needs to kind of be rebuilt. And so when I was coming back from New Hampshire, I was like, I really want to do like a retreat, get an Airbnb, in September, October for all of us. I may not be able to pay for it, but if everybody pitches in $100, then we can make that work, and we have like a fun retreat. And so I put together a list of co-host, options today, and I must have. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but I'll show you the list.
It's got a list.
Like, I get on my Facebook, and I look at the people that I've talked to, and the people that would make good guests, and the people that I could have on. I mean, there's probably 75 names on that list.
That'd be a fun camp to take them all to. I don't
know about all these people, but I'm saying, like. So, what we have to do is kind of, to be a co-host on We're Libertarians, you've got to have the right mix of, like, you get along with everybody. Like, Galt and I are the only pricks. And I get to be the prick because it's my show. And Galt gets to be the prick because we just, like, Galt's like our little brother, Like, he was being such a little prick about the T-shirts. He's like,
was he?
He was like, why'd you use that company? You should use a local company. I'm like, because if I use this company, it's going to be mostly the same quality.
Yeah.
And it's going to be insanely easy for me to do.
It's like, I'm a local company. I'm just outsourcing. Leave me
right.
alone.
If I had talked to a local company, it would have cost me $4,000 to buy a stock of a bunch of different sizes that I might never sell in the same style, the same color, as opposed to selling 30 T-shirts of giving people what they wanted in the color they wanted, and it didn't cost me anything. I just got $300 this month.
Because most local companies do screen printing. That's DTG. They don't do that.
Right. Why?
Because the DTG machines are expensive. Screen printing is very cheap. The machine really hasn't changed all that much since, I want to say, like the 70s or 80s. Right. Most people are using the same printers. Right. So those small local companies didn't have to buy another printer. Right. You know, and they're so used to the old style of, no, when people buy shirts, they buy them 50 to 100 at a time. That's what you're going to do.
Right. Sorry, I don't want to drive a Model A.
Yeah.
There's a Model T now.
Yeah.
I'm not driving the Model T. There's a Ford Mustang now.
Yeah.
So, he and I have gone back and forth over that, and partially it's, yeah. I kind of want to reveal what you told me before the show, but I don't think I should. Yeah. Should I? I don't care about looking like an idiot, but
if you're fine with not looking like an idiot, it's okay.
All right,
it's all on you.
I swear to God that Harry told me his company owned Teespring. Mm-hmm. We were sitting in this living room, and he said Teespring. I opened it up, and I put it in my bookmarks. That's how it happened. I'm blaming you. I 100% know that's why, because I didn't even look at the other company. So someone in the group chat in the Discord goes, doesn't Harry work for T-Chip? I go, no, he works for Teespring. Harry didn't have the heart to correct me. I chose the wrong company. Yep. But I'm not totally sold on Teespring anyways. I kind of told you that. I was like, I'm kind of glad because I want to test out some other stuff. I got approved to Amazon merch. I want to try your company. I wanted to use Shopify, but there's no integration with Teespring, and then you guys have an integration. So a couple people weren't totally blown away with the quality of their shirt. So I always said it was a test, and it's not that they didn't pass the test. I'm totally happy with Teespring, but I'd like to support, Harry's company. You need to use a local company. Harry works on the Regions Tower, and there's a plant on Pendleton Pike. Like,
whoa.
What? Like, it's a listen.
I work at a tower.
75 people listening. They're best people.
Work at a tower.
So,
a pike.
So yeah, So that's kind of some of the stuff. But in what I found at Podcast Movement was that we are so far ahead. Mm-hmm. And I told this to the League of Liberty guys. Like, you go there and every day I wake up and I think, gosh, I don't know what I'm doing at work. Mm-hmm. I'm at the top of my industry at work. I have a very prominent position in my industry for the role that I have and the show that I have. I'm very blessed in that way. I love my job. I think it's such an honor to be there and also to have the achievement of being at the top of your field. Mm-hmm. I worked really hard to get there, and I just feel like a total fraud every day. I'm just like, when are the people that I work for going to find out I don't know what I'm talking about? When it comes to We Are Libertarians, I work so hard at this show because I take so seriously opening up these microphones and saying something that is true, that makes you think, that is well thought out. I take very seriously the work that we put in here. I expect that of the people that contribute to We Are Libertarians. Yes, it is fun, but some of these guest hosts and some of these people show up having read a lot. They've done their homework before they sit down. And I think that expectation of quality drives, the expectation of quality that I have for myself infects the other people. It's not like I ever say to Harry, you need to read 4 articles for you. It's just Harry knows he's going to be on his game. He's at a high level. I better show up ready so I don't look stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll let you speak for yourself, but I think that's, there's times where we just jerk off, but this is a very serious thing that we do here.
Oh, yeah. That's why I also like the different tools that we use. Like, I've got you using Trello, so I know what you're reading. So one, I don't have to because I really dislike when like we've come in and we've read the exact same like 8 articles.
Yeah,
I was like, I've read those too, and I'm like, oh crap, like we've got the exact. Granted, like they're good sources, but it's like, okay, I was really hoping to, like I like to find like, okay, you're reading that. Let me go find some other sources that you're not even looking at yet.
Yeah,
not that your sources are wrong. Like I'm just going to go find other sources.
Because you want to say something different.
Yes, find something different out, and to also know like, okay, this point is true because not only did you find your 8 sources, I found 8 sources.
Yeah,
but back to the weekly meeting. Let's go back.
All right, so
let's go back.
So my point is, you go to a place like that and you go, wow, okay. Measuring myself against myself, I think I'm terrible. But when I go measure myself against my peers, We Are Libertarians is so much ahead. Like, my skill set is so much ahead of, like, I could lead one of these sessions. Yeah. So, like, I'd get bored in sessions because I hope I don't sound like I'm bragging. I'm just saying, like, we're
hashtag humble brag.
Right. But I feel like we're just in a really good place, and I'm really pleased with where we're at and moving into the future here, because I think from a platform perspective, from the tools that we have, from the group that kind of makes up that core, it's really solid. But I do think there could be some kegeling. We need to tighten up a little bit. So, and I do think that quarterly, maybe monthly, probably not weekly, because we got a
minimum.
I could get down with that because I'm constantly, like, I'm changing things all the time.
Right. Yeah, and it's kind of unnerving because it's like nothing, then boom, boom. I was like, what the? Screw him. I'm not even gonna look at it. I'm not even gonna look at my Discord. I'm gonna Gen Con and have fun.
Because I'm the type of person that I will like. I'll have a to-do list, and then I just won't have time for stuff because I get into modes where I'm on a project.
Yeah.
And so I've been very busy at work and very busy on the show, like on the content, that I've neglected certain things on the platform side.
Yeah.
So when I came back from Podcast Movement, I was into it, and I was like, I'm going to get everything done on my to-do list. And the amount of shit that I have put into Harry's inbox over the last 2 weeks, like, I'm done with my to-do list.
And that's the beauty of the weekly meeting.
Right, yeah.
You can keep, 1, filling up your to-do list. 2, you can also, like, easier to delegate everyone else down to see if they, can help with your to-do list, or to ensure that they're like, hey, are you working on that? Why are you stalled? Do you need help?
I'll tell you the thing that...
what progress have you made in a week?
Yeah.
Oh, you were busy at work? Frequently understand.
Here's what I don't need help with the platform stuff, because frankly, somebody was like, why don't you delegate that out? It's like, because it just doesn't get done. Because people don't want to... People volunteer to help and then they never follow through with it. And so it's just like, at a certain point, you just buckle your head. And so I work like a hacker. I just do a big chunk of stuff every few months, get it all done at once, and then it's kind of on autopilot. And that's kind of where I'm at with a lot of stuff. What I really could use help with is more of the prep stuff. What I would really like to do is a daily newsletter, probably around noon, with not show prep, but here's like the top 5 articles that we're reading today. Here's some resources. Here's the stuff that we're kind of working through. Check this out. Some sort of email that has some information, so we have a daily touch. Because I'm just not at a point where we can do a daily show. I'd love to do a daily show. I think I could do a daily show at this point. I have enough to say. There's enough going on. But
you want everyone in your house daily?
Well, it would probably be... No, because we're going to have more people on, like Brian. Like, I think if you heard Brian tonight, we were using a service called Ringer, and like there's a great example of Patreon people giving us the tools. It's a $20 a month service, and then it sounds great. It's better than Skype. I get quality audio from his end and my end, and I can edit it together.
Slightly better than Discord, only slightly.
Right. And then I load it up into Fireside, which is $60 a month, and then I publish it, and then Repurpose.io, which is $20 a month, publishes it to all the stuff, So it's like these little things, these little subscriptions that all add up to a lot. So that's how you get to a high cost. And so, but I'm going to have people on the phone a little more. And I've never really done a lot of let's have this person on the round table, because I just kind of find it annoying and you forget they're on the phone, and it's better when you're in person.
Yeah.
But I think if we want to really have quality people on, I want to bring in more people on the Skype machine. So so that takes more coordination. But eventually I know at some point I'm going to have to make a choice. Like, if this is going to take off, I'm going to have to quit my job and do this every day. And eventually, We Are Libertarians, probably called something like the Chris Spangle Show as opposed to We Are Libertarians, will be a daily show, like Jason Stapleton. But I have so much more material and so much more to say than just 2 days a week, And realistically, we get about 4 or 5 topics a week, and I have more to say than that. And I can't ask you guys to come over every day, and I can't do a show every day, because it's a lot of work.
A lot of researching, a lot of...
Right. And I don't want to use social media anymore. I want to start moving off of these platforms. So I think email is really kind of a good place to have that little, put your little status in there. Instead of on Facebook, put it here, put in a meme, add a video, here's 3 news stories. And I'd love to do that every day. And there are days where I just don't have time to read the news. I don't have time to keep up with stuff. And so you're sitting here on Sunday night and you're like, fuck, I haven't read the news in 3 days. I got to figure out what's going on.
Yeah.
So I think some sort of system of show prep would be great, where people are taking a story, they're, bullet pointing what happened, here's the facts, and we set up some sort of prep. That would help me more than anything. And I think people would enjoy doing that. But the problem is anytime you ask people to do stuff that kind of flame out, and I don't have it's just the nature of it. So you always have to kind of keep recruiting.
Yeah.
But I think if you're asking me what help I could use, that's it more than anything. Help me feed the beast. Because Stone and I are feeding the social media, we're feeding the show, we're feeding, my show prep, my discovery of articles, my discovery of topics, breaking down what are the arguments around Alex Jones? Because the real easy, simple answer is, it's their right to do it. You're right, but what are the other layers of complexity here? Break it down into a bullet point. It took me 4 days to kind of work my way through that. And so I think if you have a collaborative discussion going on around that issue, then you get to a much quicker point of view. The Discord was great. They gave me a couple articles over the last couple days that I used and posted in the show notes. I don't know that Discord is the right format for that. It hasn't seemed to be that. I think it's hard to kind of keep up with stuff. I think there has to be a better project management software. Trello is kind of good for that. I think the Trello has been helpful for us. But when you're talking about a daily email newsletter, 2 podcasts, a bonus episode, and realistically, I'd like to do 1 Saturday show with the Chris Spangle Show a week, just to kind of get that brand moving. You're talking about 10 to 20 news stories, 10 to 20 segments, 10 to 20 news stories with thoughts around that are unique and not heard anywhere else. That's a lot for one person.
Yes.
You need a team of people. And so, at work we have, prep staff, and I would structure it a lot like that. So, so if you're listening and if you would be very serious in helping with that, the patrons I really trust. There's people like Reinhold, yourself, I think Paul Copeland, Matt Whitliff, a lot of our co-hosts who have very serious thoughts and kind of keep up on stuff and would be great at contributing to some of that stuff. I think there's some untapped resources in our Patreon group, people that are listening to this that might make real contributions to that sort of project. So if you're willing to help, then get in touch with me, because I'd love to have some help with some of that stuff, because I ultimately don't view I'm not a professor. And I heard Ben Shapiro say the term opinion journalist in the last couple weeks, and I was like, fuck, that's it. Because I have always loved journalism. I've always wanted to work for a newspaper. Mm-hmm. I have always loved journalism. That's why I gravitated to the radio station I did early on, is because I got to be a reporter. And I love commentary, and obviously I have a point of view, but I don't consider myself the same as like a Roger Paxton or a Tom Woods, where I don't necessarily feel like I'm more of a collector. I observe what's going on, and then I explain what's going on and let you make the decision. Mm-hmm. And I feel like a lot of libertarian podcasts and a lot of political commentary is, here's why I'm right, and here's why you should agree with me. And
the precursor to the conclusion, which is what you like.
Right. I want to know all the working parts behind it, much more like a journalist. So opinion journalist is probably a good way to describe it, but to do that, you have to have a lot of information. Mm-hmm. Because when you look at a story like Alex Jones, for instance, there is a ton of moving parts in that. There's a ton of arguments. There's a lot of people who on the left and right making arguments that make sense. Mm-hmm. And so what are the arguments? What are the facts? First, you have to start with the facts. When you look and you go, wow, I don't think they actually released the terms of service violations. What the fuck? That informs the next opinion, which is, all right, that's fine. So there's a lot in this stuff that it's just impossible, and I'll get nasty messages sometimes of, you got this fact wrong. It's like, do you have any idea, when you talk 10 hours a week into a microphone, and you read 10 hours, you've read an hour or two for every hour you're talking, you still don't have enough information.
The thing with the Alex Jones thing that always got me was weirded out. It was that the coordinated effort and the proof in the pudding that all these people, they do communicate with each other, they network with each other, they watch what each other is doing, and they get signals from each other.
I don't think it was as intentional as Zuck calling up and going, hey, we're doing this, you should do it too. I think it was Apple moved, these companies all found out that they moved, so 3 moved quickly, and because they all had...
Sure. You sure?
I think they all had wind that it was going to happen.
Yep.
I think through gossip.
Uh-huh.
I think that they had then prepped themselves. Mm-hmm. Alex Jones says that he had heard that it was going to happen, that he knew that it was coming. That's why they rebuilt their app and got it into the stores as quickly as possible. So I don't think that this stuff is ever as conspiratorial as people may think, but there's definitely the tail end of it, the Instagrams, the MailChimps, those people are...
Oh, they're just on board.
When Apple, and then Apple does it, so Facebook goes, okay, let's move. YouTube then goes, move. And those big 3 do it in the span of 12 hours. Then the others start getting the DMs in their customer service inboxes and goes, let's do it. We got cover now. We got to do it, or we're going to lose customers.
YouTube can't use customers. They've done worse.
Like a MailChimp, a Spreaker, an Audio Boom. Maybe them, those are people that...
No, if people wanted to leave YouTube or Twitter, they would have left.
Right.
Or Facebook, they would have left. No one leaves. No one leaves the farm of YouTube.
It's when people write us and say, I'm never listening to your show again, I was like, you'll be listening. Shut up.
Be back. But anyways, the parallels from it, like I tell people, it's like, what to me, we're just spraying and spat in my face. It's like, wow, this is the, this is exactly the same crap that Gamergate was fighting about. Like the fact that all these journalists, all these people all hang about and they hate us.
Right.
Now, granted, they're not writing about articles right now about how we all suck and we all need to change. Okay, maybe they are.
Well, for a long time, libertarians got along with liberals, and there was always that fashionable, during the Obama years, everybody hated Republicans. And so if you were a liberal, I can tolerate you because everything was about gay marriage. Now everything's about Trump. And libertarians will sometimes go, yeah, I like the tax cuts. And anybody who appears right in any way, shape, or form, liberals have such a mania around Trump that if Donald Trump, and I neglected to say this on the big show, Donald Trump doesn't get elected president, Alex Jones never has a problem. He remains obscure. Mm-hmm. But because he, quote unquote, helped get Donald Trump elected, he's got to go. Mm-hmm. And so anybody who's even remotely favorable to Trump, even once, you're done. Mm-hmm. You're the enemy. Right. It's like pro-Trump is now the new racist.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's like they were talking about taking this, freaking star off and attacking this star. It was on the freaking Walk of Fame. Like, ooh, really?
I think I saw it got attacked again. Yeah. So for the second time now.
Yeah, which is ridiculous.
So back to the weekly meeting.
But even if it's just a touch base with myself, like it'd be neat to just talk with you, just to hear what is your plan for the week.
Right.
Just to hear from you.
Yeah.
Just like, this is my plan. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to try to accomplish.
I'm now going to kind of have the shows set by Sunday.
And I like that.
Yeah, so I think we do the call on Sundays. Even if it's just you and me, we can talk about the Tuesday show. It's fine by me. But, yeah, I would like... I've seen Quip used pretty effectively.
Quip?
For some of this stuff. But, yeah, I just think there needs to be a little more preparation and communication for sure. Because there was a strong sense after all that happened last year of, I can't trust anybody. I'm not going to trust anybody. I'll do it on my own. And I'll be honest, I have trouble asking people to contribute to something that, like, I feel if I ask you to do something, it's an imposition on you. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, and so I don't want to be an imposition on anybody by asking them to help, which is why, when Jordan... basically Jordan came along and was having, a financial issue. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm doing okay in Patreon. I can afford this much a month. Mm-hmm. And then what I want to do is reach out to the patrons. I gave her a whole big long to-do list of stuff to do. Mm-hmm. It's like, I'm much more comfortable paying her to do work. Here's $15 an hour to do some work for me. Mm-hmm. And that is going to benefit stuff. So I'm much more comfortable with that relationship than asking people to do stuff for free. Because I feel like now that we've got money coming in, and even though it's not in the grand scope of things a ton of money,
right.
It pays me very little.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I make $300 a month total on this. Even though we're bringing in $1,300, it's like...
Yeah, but after expenses.
Expenses, funding special projects, investing in the growth, you get a couple meals and a tank of gas out of it.
Yeah.
But
he has not bought me gas or meals, by the way.
I have not. So I'm much more comfortable paying people to do some of that stuff that I don't have time to do.
But by the way, the Blue Apron meals he fed me has stopped.
Because I haven't been able to afford the Blue Apron meals. So yeah, it's it is, we're in good shape. I mean, being able to hire, because I would rather you come and have fun, and I'd rather you read articles than do some menial task.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
I get that,
and that's how I feel about the contributors.
Mm-hmm. No. I see what you're saying there, but it's also like, but the idea just to know, like, the top, like getting the Tuesday and the Thursday show set. Like, this is what we're going to talk about. I also like, here's a good idea for the bonus show. This is I got something for that. We can talk about this. We're doing this week.
No, I for sure want you to, because I realize I talk a lot, and I want you to have more input on the Tuesday show. Early on, it was about control. Mm-hmm. It was like, I'm going to do this thing, and, and then in the summertime, it was like, I just got to get through this week because I got all this travel, and I got all this. Now I'm kind of at a point where it's like, I need to ease up a little bit. And I need to let Harry, like, you can take a segment or two. Mm-hmm. I don't have to do all 4 segments. I don't have to do, because I got another show. So that's really why I said to you late last week, it's like, I want you to plan some stuff. I want you to talk about, I want you to take the lead. I want you to, and I don't want you to just show up and feel like, well, I'm just here to say hi. Yeah.
And what's up, man?
Right. I want you to say what you feel needs to be said and talk about what you want to talk about. But I think I need to maybe see it on paper, or I need to hear an articulated view, so I don't feel stupid when we're sitting there. Or I know that I can trust you to get it done. It's not that I don't trust you to get it done. I think low-key wall is really good. I just need to, I have to have that reassurance of we're not sitting here looking at each other going, because I listen to some of the older shows and I'm just like, we're just talking about nonsense. There was not as much going on as there is now. So there were some weeks we'd show up and there was no news to talk about. There was nothing interesting happening. And so we shot the shit, but it's not that way anymore. There's just so much going on, so much stuff at an accelerated rate.
And quick, too. Things happen so fast. Gaming stuff, with Jeremy Hamlin getting punched at Gen Con, that was nuts. It was crazy.
Right.
I just can't believe someone got attacked, even though you can disagree with his views or what he says, but Gen Con used to be the peaceful event, and black guys feel peaceful, and we got an attack at Gen Con.
Yeah, and so I think part of what I want to do is I want to train people how I do things. So that topic right there, for instance, Harry, when you got to make it as relevant to people as possible, and so they're like, "Who? Why did this guy get punched? What does this matter to me?" So people are audiences. I'm sorry, audience. Audiences are very selfish, and they, the Steve Jobs principle of they don't know what they want until you give it to them only goes so far. So there's stuff like that where we talk on Sunday and I go, okay, this 30 minutes of this is yours, 45 minutes of this is, or this segment's I'm all ears, because if I don't have to do another hour of homework, that means I get to, even if it just means I get an hour to. I went out with this girl on Saturday, had a real nice time. She wanted to go hang out tonight.
Yeah.
Said, I'm sorry, I'm podcasting. Last night, she wanted to talk. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm busy with the podcast. She's like, so she just texted while we were sitting here, do you do this every night? Are you podcasting every night? I'm like,
no.
So I got to have a life too. So wouldn't trade it for a second, but I do not want to be a workaholic like my dad. Too late.
Yeah. Look what you did. Well, that's what I made the decision a couple of weeks ago to move low-key wall back to Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
And every Wednesday so far, something has happened.
Right.
I'm doing this on Wednesday.
Right.
Because, I had the thing on Tuesday. Then last week was still sick, most of that.
Yeah, after that, and then I went and went to pull the audio that day that I was trying to get the Twitch, and then you were grumpy about it, and then I looked and I was like, there's no low-key wall. I was like, I hope Harry's not trying to quit.
This is so he quits. This is how he freaking quits. No, I was
on me.
No, I actually haven't did a low-key wall in about I want to say 4 weeks, because my Fridays have been kicking my butt. One, the great people who come out to Liberty and Chill on Fridays have talked my ear off on Fridays and got me into so many interesting conversations. So by the time I got home, I had nothing. I was tired from talking. I just I just want to sit here. I wonder if they get mad if I just turn the camera on and just played a game.
Right.
I'm not saying anything. I'm here. I'm awake.
Right.
I don't feel like saying anything.
Yeah.
Just I think I did one time in Reinhold and Nice went at it. I just
there wasn't much Harry on that one.
Good. I'm just gonna sit here and go to sleep.
I would say at least one of the shows a week. I feel that way. Tonight, before you got here, I was so happy you were late. Honestly, I would have taken a nap had I known it would have been 8:10. But I sat down at 6:30 and I was just I gotta shut my brain off for 30 minutes. I don't know how I'm gonna get through these shows. It ended up being, I think, a really good show, but I get it. Because it's just. Whew.
Yeah. Because I've been dying to get the VPN episode of Low Key Wall out there.
Right.
Because, one, that's all I've been doing for the last few weeks at work. they get the engineering team on their VPN, and they were like, I can't believe this works. That was so fast, Harry. I thought this was going to take like a whole, like it literally was like my Q3 goal.
Right.
Done.
Yeah.
Done.
No, so I feel like we're kind of going through what every small business goes through, where you're at a point where you've got more than you know what to do, and so how do you start structuring, how do you start changing things so things don't get bottlenecked? Like, for instance, I've got 4 videos to edit that I've not edited yet, and so Sarah is looking at me like, do I need to do this shit myself? I'm like, not yet. Not yet. You know what I mean? Like, just wait a minute. Just give me a week and then we'll be good. So you get to a point where you don't want to be your own worst enemy. So if people out there can identify, because you've been through this with your business, or if you've got ideas, or if you want to step up, then please, by all means, editor@wearelibertarians.com, send me or Harry a message. That'd be great. We'd love to get people more involved in this, especially you guys. You guys are our trusted partners. You guys really understand the show, and I've said it a million times, like, the consistency and the growth is because I want to give you what you're paying for. Like, I take your donation so seriously, and want to make sure that you get your money's worth. And so, hearing from a couple people that, like, they don't feel the content has been up to where they expect it to be, over the last month or so, I'm like, man, I don't disagree with you, So I just want to make sure that we're always giving you your money's worth, that you're always feeling taken care of, that you're appreciated for what you do for us. So, Harry, any other thoughts?
I think I really like the idea that you said we're going to get the Tuesday show, send it in on Sunday night. That's perfect, because like Sunday, like I'm done studying and I'm ready to do something else besides like a technical manual.
Yeah.
And knowing what the show topic is going to be gives me plenty of time, because I do work through Monday through Tuesday, so I'm not going to be able to have time to like read a lot of stories for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, no, taking a couple hours on the weekends and kind of, I don't know, just structuring it so I plan it out.
No, yeah, it's going to be great.
But yeah, I think like a prep team of people kind of feeding content, and then I'm exhaling it. I don't know. Excuse me. Hiccups.
Yeah. Look at you.
I'm just the one formatting and spewing and editing. That'd be great. So yeah, if you're interested in something like that, we'd love to have you on, and maybe get a little group going. So, All right, Harry, that's enough of this. So it was good.
Yeah,
it's fun.
Good.
Give people a little update.
Yeah, got me to remind myself, like, this one piece of device I always wanted to, like, I wanted to show you the tentacle sync. I don't know why that came to me while we were doing this show.
I don't know what that is.
It's a device that it puts out like this high frequency to help you sync together audio and visual from like a remote camera microphone.
Yeah. I saw one of I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's really cool.
I saw that in the video you shared with me. Yeah,
from Linus. Yeah, Linus.
Yep.
Yeah. Because, like I said, you've got me addicted to studio and people's video porn. I'm like,
are those not the best? You watch those videos about how to build a studio?
Yeah.
That's why I don't have a studio yet, because it's like you watch that and you're like, oh, when I get in that studio, I'm going to buy this. And it's like, I need a red camera. It's like, you look at these guys, you're like, you're making YouTube videos that people look at on their tiny little phones
I know,
at 720. You do not need a red camera to do YouTube videos.
You got this red camera.
Like, we've got 18 servers in this room. It's like, you make YouTube videos. Like, people. Here's the thing about, like, people don't care. Like, they'll watch. We do 480 on our Mevo camera, and people watch the whole thing, and it doesn't. It's like, you don't need a red camera. It'd be great to have higher quality, but you don't need it. It's like the most famous videos on the internet are filmed like at.
I do low-key while 720.
260 quality on a potato Android phone.
Yeah.
Of bums fighting. So
Charlie bit me.
It's waffle fries. All right, guys. Thanks so much for joining us here on We Are Libertarians on the bonus show. Thanks. We're not doing the camera. Harry, wave goodbye. All right. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you tomorrow. All right. Talk to you later. Bye.